Hey, good morning again, everybody.
Good morning.
Right, so today we're having a look at one of the most well-known chapters in the Bible. Now, obviously, there's a lot of really well-known chapters, but this is honestly one of the most well-known chapters. 1 Corinthians 13. You want to take a second and find it and follow along with me? (1 Corinthians 13). If I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all my possessions to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonour others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but always rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when a completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put away childhood behind me. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking what Claire would say to that one then, but for now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. This chapter is often referred to as the love chapter because it beautifully encapsulates the power and the significance of love in our lives. This was the chapter Claire and myself, we had read at our wedding, as probably several million other couples have across the world. I mean, and why not? Because for me, it is one of the most beautiful descriptions of love. I've never come across a better description of what love is anywhere. If someone has, then please show me, because I would love to see it. But I've never come across one. And obviously it's biblical, but it just paints such a beautiful picture of what love is. And I just think it is amazing. I think there's probably no better writing that has ever been penned that truly shows how amazing love is. So let us focus on the opening verses of 1 Corinthians 13, where it says, if I speak in tongues of men or angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. This is saying that if I can speak well, be in tongues of men or angels, but do it without love, all the noise I make might as well be that of a clanging cymbal. If you are saying something to somebody and it isn't said with love, then you might as well not bother, because all you're doing is just making a noise. Not just a noise, but a really annoying noise. Because, let's face it, cymbals, gongs, they've got the right places where they fit in and they sound good. But if someone just sat there banging a cymbal, going bang, 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 it's not long before you're going to be shouting, will you stop that? Put that down. Just leave it alone. Because it's just going to get on your nerves, it's going to wind you up. And it's the same if somebody sat there and they're just talking, and you're like, eventually, hopefully, you won't tell them to shut up. You would very politely find a way to end the conversation and just walk away. But the conversation's not going to have done any good because it's not done without love. So, if you're talking to somebody and you're not doing it without love, then you're just a noise. You might as well not bother. Our words should build people up, not tear them down. When we speak, it should be said for good. My mother always told me, if you haven't got anything good to say, don't say anything. And it's something I still stand by. I mean, yeah, my mother got a lot to do with my bringing up, with, several clips around the ears, but it doesn't matter how well you speak, how many big words you know, without love, you might as well keep your mouth closed. So move on. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. Again, this is talking about gifts from God and faith and knowledge. It is saying you can have one of these or all of these, but if you don't have love for your fellow man, then you are nothing. It might sound harsh saying that you are nothing, but it's the truth. And it's said on purpose to get the point across. These gifts that we're talking about are gifts from God. And God gives you these gifts for one simple reason: to glorify His holy name. And if you use them without showing God's love, it is pointless. If you're using God's gifts and it isn't to show God's love, and you're trying to show how good you are, because that's what people do. I've seen it before. Someone prays for someone and there's a healing taking place, and they'll stand up and they'll go, I healed so and so, and you're like, no you didn't, God did. But there is so many people out in the world that will take responsibility, they'll take it on them. I did that. That gift that God gave me is me. I'm the one that did that. And it's not just for prayers and healing, things like that. It happens so much in this world. It's a thing we've got to be careful for. We've got to stay humble about. Because it's not you, it's God. Plain and simple, God. We have to be careful about these. Because if you are using these gifts and you're using them in the wrong way, I can't see you having them for long. What God gives, He can take away. Yeah. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. If you do good things so that you can boast about them, then you've already received your reward. But if you do good things and don't boast about them, then our God in heaven sees what you do, and He will store up your rewards in heaven. And that is the best place to have any reward. One is going to be for eternity. And two, you know it's not going to be destroyed. It's not going to rust, disintegrate, and disappear over time. It's stored in heaven. So when you do something, make sure that you're not doing it for look at me. Because You're doing it then, and you receive your reward. When someone comes up to you and goes, oh, well done, that was good. That's it, that's your reward. I'd much prefer to have God put his arm around me and says, you did good there. Don't let your right arm or your left arm know what the other one's doing. Just get on with it. Do it behind the scenes. Do it in love. Recently, me and Claire moved house. It's still recent. And we had plenty of people there to help us. We even had to turn people away because we had so many people wanting to help us. But they weren't there because they wanted to. They was there because they wanted to be there, They weren't there to do, look at me, aren't I so great? I'm helping Rob and Claire move house. They were just there to get stuck in and help us move as quick as possible. And it was done out of love. And it was amazing. Boom, we was in. By the next day, we'd got half the house set up, and it was fantastic. And the fantastic bit about it was just to see the love, the calls that we were getting saying, do you need a hand? Do you want a hand? We'll give you help if you need it. But down there on the day, boom, people just, it was like colony hands, people just boom, 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 doing this, doing that, they were going everywhere. It was amazing. And it was all done out of love. There was no self-glorification, no building that person up. It was just done out of love. And it's amazing when you see things like that. It's the same with the church and all the redecoration that's been happening and is still happening. It's mainly down to our Bev. She hasn't done it for any acknowledgement. She's put a lot of her own time into making this church look great because she loves this church. She loves you all and she wants you to have the best place to come and worship God. It's a shame we can't clone people because this world needs a lot more Bevs. I know she's going to kill me. I can't even walk up for saying this. But it's true. Our Bev is the perfect example of 1 Corinthians 13 in action. And I truly believe that. And I said, I'm not looking at it because I know I'm going to need some bodyguards to get out of here today. But it is true. The amount of time and effort that Bev has put into making this place as beautiful as it is today is amazing. And it's the perfect example of 1 Corinthians 13 in action. She's not done it with no self-glorification. She's done it for love. Every motive behind every single thing she's done has been purely love. Love for you and love for the church. And I know she's going to kill me even more. I know we've already done it, but I think she deserves another round of applause. Right, stop before she really does kill me. Right, empty, loveless actions are truly meaningless. And they can get you into big trouble. Very early on in mine and Claire's relationship, we were saving every penny we had for our wedding. So we agreed that we weren't buying, Valentine's was coming up. We agreed that we wasn't buying any presents that year. And I thought, yes, I'm off the hook. Now, I know a lot of people don't celebrate Valentine's. Some people have the opinion that it's just a manufactured holiday just to sell cards and chocolates and flowers and all that sort of stuff. And that's fine. But it doesn't make no difference. For us, it's a celebration of love. And I hope that my love for Claire oozes out every day and she knows how much I love her. And she doesn't need Valentine's Day. for me to show her how much I love her. But it's still that special day where love is celebrated. But I'd taken this thing that she'd said, because to be honest, it was Claire that said it, we're not buying presents. And I've gone, yes, I'm off the hook. I can just pop in any card shop, grab a card, bump, come home, give her the card, I'm off the hook. I ain't got to go looking around, no shop, got no shopping to do, because that's the big thing, I hate shopping. Even online shopping, it drives me insane. It's like, then you've got the worry, is it going to be the right thing? Is it going to reflect the right thing? Is she going to like it? But I was off the hook that year. And to be honest with you, it should have been a red flag. I should have gone, no. And I should have bought her a present. And I found that out the hard way when I came home from work with just a card. And handed over it, and then she went, I went, oh, we said we weren't getting any present. And she went, oh, so you didn't get me anything then? And I, well, no, and yeah, it's, but the thing is, like I said, for me, my motive behind it wasn't proper. I could have bought her a present. It wouldn't have derailed the wedding. It was just, for me, it was just a simple way of, it was a get out of jail card. I just thought, I got out of this year. I've now got to go shopping, and that's all that I cared about. I didn't care that the woman I love wasn't going to receive just a token of my love for her. And like I said, I did also learn that women, no offence women, but you don't always say what you mean. I did learn that in a very hard way that day. It's, yeah, and it's something that I said that was over 20 years ago or whatever, or what, and I still, no, not 20 years, 16 years, and that's still number one lesson in my life. Yes, definitely take that to heart. Yes. Oh, as I said, I love Claire from the bottom of my heart, and it shows, I hope it shows in every single action that I do. But that day, it was an empty, meaningless action. That I didn't do anything. And I got what I deserved. A splitting headache for the rest of the week. But seriously, no matter how gifted we may be, no matter how much we may sacrifice, if it is not done out of love, it is all in vain. Love is the foundation upon which all of our actions should be built. Without love, we are merely going through the motions, seeking after empty accolades and self-glorification. Romans 13:10 echoes the sentiment saying, love does no harm to a neighbour. Therefore, love is the fulfilment of the law. When we operate from a place of love, we naturally align ourselves with God's will. Love compels us to act in ways that uplift and edify others, rather than rip them down. Love is the essence of all that God desires from us. And when we choose love, we are living out the greatest commandment. God is love, and all love comes from him. Yeah. Therefore, we should emulate his love and be overflowing with love. Moving on to verses 4 to 7, we read, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonour others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. These verses provide us with a roadmap for how love should manifest in our lives. Love is not merely a feeling or an emotion, it is a choice and a way of being. Love is patient and kind, demonstrating grace and mercy towards others. Love does not seek after its own interest, but prioritizes the well-being of others. Love is not easily provoked or quick to hold grudges, but instead seeks reconciliation and forgiveness. Love is a constant source of protection, trust, hope, and endurance. Love is the embodiment of Christ himself, who displayed these qualities in abundance during his time on earth. Now, Karen, you start dishing out for me, please. Right, the doors are locked, so there's no running off, because you have homework this week, as you'll find out in a moment. So I hope you were paying attention to what we've just read. I printed off a sheet for you to take home. 1 second, I will very quickly show it to the camera. There we go. There we go. And it's basically like running a self-diagnostic of yourselves. Now, where there's a blank space, that is where love should be. But what you are supposed to do is obviously pray, talk to God about it, and instead of love, you put your own name. Yeah. So, we'll take number 2, for example. Is kind. That's a nice, easy one, isn't it? We can all say we're kind. Kind to our friends, kind to our family. But there's a catch. You're not doing this through your own eyes. I want you to do it through the eyes of Jesus and what Jesus taught us to do. So if you're kind, are you kind to your enemies? Are you kind to the people that you don't get on with? Are you the kind to the people that would persecute you? Are you kind to the people that would have you downtrodden? Because that is the sort of love that Jesus showed us to have. Not just love for our friends and family, because that's easy, but love for everybody. Now, don't worry. Next week, I'm not going to ask you to hand all these in. I'm not going to be marking them or anything like that. This is something for you to keep. And it's something you can spend as long as you want on. And I'm hoping that you can use it as like a little self-diagnostic tool. And you work and look through it, and you go, you know what? I could do a bit of work on that. And then you can pray to God, help me with this. But be warned, normally when you ask God to help you with something like that, He puts you into a situation where you're going to be tested and be stretched. He's not going to just come down and go, there you go, I'm going to make you more kind. He's going to put you into a situation so that you can show your kindness. He's going to do something where He will stretch you that little bit more, make you that little bit more Christ-like. As we've said before, God doesn't come down and just zap us and make us better. We're work in progress.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as I said, this little thing that I'm giving you is straight out of the Bible. And it is, as I said, it's a roadmap to love. And as Christians, that is what we should be projecting more than anything, is love. It's something that we should be showing to the world, is love. And if we can't do that, we're going to struggle. So, as I said, it's between you and God now. So we move on from that. John reinforces his message stated in 1 John 4:7-8. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Love, as I said, is not just a concept or an idea. It is the very essence of God himself. When we choose to love others, we are participating in the divine nature and drawing closer to the heart of God. As we meditate on these verses and reflect on the significance of love in our lives, let us consider how we can embody these qualities in our relationships with others. Are we being patient and kind towards those around us, even when they may not deserve it? If we show love to those who only deserve it, we are not being Christ-like, because that wouldn't be his attitude. We would not be here today if it wasn't for Christ's love. We didn't deserve his love, but he went to the cross for us anyway. Are we quick to forgive and extend grace as God has done for us? Are we seeking to protect and uplift others rather than tear them down? In Matthew, Jesus summarises the greatest commandment, saying in Matthew 22-37, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbour as yourself. When we truly grasp the depth of God's love for us, we cannot help but respond in kind by loving others. Our love for God should overflow into love for our neighbours, demonstrating the transformative power of love in action. 1 Corinthians 13 serves as a powerful reminder of the significance of love in our lives. Love is not merely a sentiment or a feeling, but a choice, a way of being. When we choose to love others as God has loved us, we are aligning ourselves with the very heart of God. So let us strive to embody the qualities of love outlined in 1 Corinthians 13. Patience, kindness, humility, forgiveness, protection, trust, hope, and endurance in all our relationships. Our lives need to be a reflection of the love that God has shown us, so that others may know the transformative power of God's love in their own lives. It is only because of God's love for every single one of us that we are here today. It's only because of God's love that I'm alive today. And I don't say that being dramatic, it's factual. The path I was on led to destruction. And that's not, I said, it's not a possibility, it's fact. And back then, it's something that I would have welcomed. And I'm not saying this just to be dramatic. That's the state of my life was in back then, before I knew God. Before I knew God's love. I was in such a state that I would have welcomed death. I really honestly would have. If I could have pushed the button that said death, I would have done it. I was in a broken, desperate state. I'd given up on life. I believed that I was worthless. Nothing but a drain on society. Did nothing but cause pain to my family. And I said, not saying it to be dramatic, it's the truth. Then one day, everything changed. I met Kath, a lady who overflowed with the love of God. At the time, I didn't know that, but I certainly do now. On one of the lowest days of my life, she crossed the road to come and talk to me and share with me about the love of Jesus. The thing is, people didn't cross the road to talk to me. People crossed the road to avoid me. They knew who I was and they knew what I was. I'd never done anything to hurt anybody, but they knew who I was and what I was. And I would be walking down the street and you would see it all the time. They'd cross over the road to walk down the other side of the street just to avoid me. But this lady, Kath, she came from the other side of the street to me, to a lost, broken soul. And that moment changed my life. Yes. That moment when she prayed for me and I felt God's love for the first time was the day that everything changed. It was the day that I first got to know about God. I first felt God in my life. I felt God's love in my life. My pain that I was going in at that time, it went away. I still had a lot of hardship to deal with going forward, but that was all part of God's plan. It wasn't going to be me on my own anymore. It was going to be me and God together, working through this hardship. That's what brought me to Wales. That's what brought me to Mary Clare. That's what brought me to this place. God's long-term plan, 20 years ago, longer than that, put in motion so I could be here right now. But it took Kath showing God's love, emanating the love of God to cross the path over to the person in desperate need. She was showing the true love of God. She was demonstrating God's love, showing it here on earth, as we are called to do. So, my final question is, who are you today? Are you the Christian who would cross the road to walk the other way? Or are you the Christian who would cross the road top of the hill? It's not an easy question. I'm not asking for answers. But it's just a challenge. Because we all think, I'd be the Christian across the road. I'd be the Christian that would go across and make the difference. But what happens if it's a busy day? You're late to meet somebody. You've not had a good day yourself. You still going to show God's love? Because that's what we're called to do every day. Every day, every moment. Because if you don't cross the road, it could mean somebody's life. Plain and simple. If Kath had not crossed the road, it would have meant my life. That's for certain. I'd had all sorts of love in my life. Been brought up amazing from my family, my mother, my dad. It was God's love. that changed everything.
Amen.
And it's God's love that we need out there.
Amen.
We need to cross the street and reach the people that are in that desperate situation.
Amen.
Amen, everyone.